Hey YouTube, today I thought I'd do a fun little project. This here is a Walther CCP 9mm pistol with a Lasermax Spartan laser attached to it. It comes like this from the factory, and no one really makes a holster that accommodates the CCP with the Lasermax Spartan. So we're gonna attempt to make a holster, and today we're gonna try to make the pattern for the holster. So let's get to it. So first things first, safety is of the utmost importance. So let's go ahead and clear this pistol, make sure it's safe to operate. Magazine's loaded, we take the magazine out. There's nothing in the gun. So we're ready to work with it. So I'm just gonna use a couple pieces of cardboard. This is actually an old shoebox that I cut up. You're gonna need two pieces, one for the back side, one for the front side. And hopefully we could get this right. What I've drawn here is just a baseline as to the bottom of the gun. This line here is approximately 10 degrees from this vertical line. So I'm going to try to make this with about a 10-degree cant. Not quite a 15-degree FBI cant, but about 10 degrees. So let's see how we could do this. So I put the sight on this 10-degree line, like so. Lay it down. And with a Sharpie, I'm going to make an outline of the gun. Oops, just moved it a little bit. Doesn't need to be accurate, just approximate, right? Now it doesn't matter that the magazine is out because the holster is not going to cover the grips or anything. We just want a nice good outline for the most part that we could work with. And there we go. Sort of kind of a nice good outline. So some things we need to note before we move forward. I'm a right-hander, so this side of the gun is going to go up against my body. I'm going to try to make a pancake style or saddle style holster that is curved so it fits around my waist really nicely, which means the inside piece and the outside piece, they're a little bit different sizes. They're not quite the same size. The outside piece will be a little bit bigger. So this here will be the inside of the piece of leather that goes up against my body, and the other piece we're going to make is going to be for the outside. So for this application, we want the holster to cover the trigger, so probably come right about here and exit right above the extractor, maybe somewhere right around here, and curve a little bit. Same thing on this side, just curve a little bit. So that should be the general shape of this holster, something like that. Something like that, like that. And we're going to do a little bit of measurement just to make sure we get this right. So now the muzzle of the gun comes out here. I want to cover the muzzle of the gun, so I'm going to go down probably about ½ inch from there. And I'm actually going to use a different color Sharpie just so I know. But that'll be the bottom of my holster, and that's going to be where I cut this thing. Now I'm going to measure an inch out from where the holster leaves the gun on either side. And on this side. And that's going to be the start of my belt loop holes. So let's draw some lines here. Let's kind of make sure that's square. Again, doesn't have to be precise, but just make sure it's square. Line it up with the line that I previously drew. About that. Those are the inside two cut marks for the belt loops, and then I want these belt loops to be 7/16 of an inch. maybe roughly half inch. So we're gonna draw another line. Maybe a little bit too thick. So now I know I want these to be 3/4 inch from the bottom. Three-quarter inch from this line. And then the loops need to accommodate an 1.5 inch belt. And we could draw a couple lines through this. And what we need to do is just round these up. Want the holster to end about another 3/4 inch from this thing, and that's going to be a cut line. So I'm going to use a different color. I just got to be careful that I remember which marks were the right ones. And same thing here. Quarter inch. Now, I hope you can see it in the camera. The black lines are actually my cut lines. These are the lines that I'm going to be cutting up on. So this here is the basic shape of the holster. We're going to round these edges too. And that would be the side that goes up against my body. Now we're just going to cut this out with an X-Acto knife. Okay, so this is the piece that goes up against my body. And this here is going to curve back a little bit. So I'm just going to estimate halfway in between these two. So about 1/2 inch from this one. And this is about where the curve is going to be. So I'm just going to make a light score on this. Just to be able to bend it without tearing it. That way, we could bend this a little bit. And that's for the most part, the basic shape of this holster. Okay, so we have one side of this gun holster done, right? And to do the other side, you might think, okay, so if this is one side, you just flip it over, mark the other side out, and boom, you're done. But that's not really correct. You gotta remember, I'm making what is a pancake style or saddle style holster, right? So this is the side that goes up against my body, and the other side is the outside, and we have to accommodate for the thickness of the gun. The gun is roughly 1.1 inches thick, so if we have 1.1 inches on this side, 1.1 inches on this side, that is 2.2 inches, roughly 2.25 inches. We need to add roughly 2.25 inches to the dimensions of this to actually get the other side. So let's go ahead and mark that out. So with a line drawn down the side of this, now we got to remember, we got to flip it over, right? And we measure this piece, which is 7 1/4 inches. Add in 2 1/4 inches, that gives us 9 1/2 inches. So the other side should be 9 1/2 inches. Okay, so this is 9 1/2 inches, and this should be the size of the outer piece. Now, the only pieces on the outer piece that are actually going to mesh up with this are right here where it starts bending, and just a little bit before, until you start making the profile of the gun. So we could go ahead and on either side, just mark this. Should I mark this here too? And that is for the most part the shape of this outside piece. Complete the shape. We could freehand this a little bit. That's almost, for the most part. And we could smoothen this out after, okay? That's about, for the most part, the shape of this. Now, this is going to accommodate for the thickness of the gun. And what we need to do is to make some profiles, just so we know how it's going to look. Other than that, this is really all you need for the template. Alright, and there you have it. Really, that is all you would really need to make the template. Alright, fits on this side, fits on this side. Alright, with this thing taped together, you get a feel for how it actually comes together, right? We have that forward cant. If we're using leather, you have some room to form the leather around the features of the gun. And my tape just broke. But if you're using Kydex, please remember to reduce the size a little bit for the thickness to accommodate for the Kydex. And now we could transfer the shape onto whatever material we're going to use, and we know what we're going to do, how we're going to form it out, and that will be the next video. I hope you enjoyed this, and maybe we see you on the next one. Please remember to subscribe.